Hello, and welcome to the Scale Modeling Twins on the YouTubes. This is a post-build review of my recent kit, the one that I've just finished. It's a Kinetic 148 scale FA-18A Hornet. This kit is very good actually. Comes with a choice of either the B model, the two-seat or the tub as they call it, or the single-seat fighter, the A and the B. And there's lots of options there to make it either the Australian, the Spanish, or the Canadian version, and each of the peculiarities of those forces and little differences that they included. I've built mine as, I'll pick it up. This is the Worimi Hornet. It's called Worimi Dreaming. It's I guess in tribute to all Indigenous Australians. Certainly, the Worimi is the land on which the aircraft was based, as Worimi people. But in particular, it's got a name on the nose, just under the windscreen there. It's Warrenof's Len Waters, and he was the only known Indigenous pilot in World War II. He's flying Kitty Hawks for Royal Australian Air Force. So it's not in celebration of him. He wasn't a Worimi man. He was a Kamilaroi man, which is a tribe that's further inland and north a bit of Worimi, which is Newcastle in New South Wales. Um, but let's change the camera here. Let's get in a bit closer and have a look. So this is, yeah, as I say, the Kinetic boxing, but it's not the Worimi boxing. Kinetic had released this one in this scheme after I had purchased this aftermarket decal set. So this is a Polish decal firm by the name of Model Maker, and I ordered this through Hannants a couple of years ago. These Model Maker decals were later incorporated and licensed via, I think, Kinetic to be included in a Kinetic release. Those ones there were printed by Cartograph. I don't know if these ones were, but I had absolutely no problems with any of the decals at all. They all went down very well indeed. The only thing I'm not particularly happy about, and it's not a big gripe, if you see on the tail there in front of the big bird, which is called a kilya apparently, it's light blue. And that's around about the shade of the blue on the actual aircraft. Whereas on the decals, unfortunately, it's a little bit darker, so it doesn't stand out as much. It doesn't pop. It pops a bit more on the actual aircraft, but it's not far off. So paints I use, this is SMS, top and bottom. It's a medium grey and the ghost grey, the standard FS numbers for Hornets. And they're, I think, pretty spot on. SMS are beautiful paints. And this this is Insignia Blue, the what you would use for RAF roundels by SMS as well for the dark blue, and that's pretty much spot on the actual aircraft too, which is really nice. I've put some aftermarket stuff on this to Australianise it, if you like, or certainly what I did. This aircraft is on display in a museum outside the base in Williamtown, close to where I live, where I volunteer, in fact. And what I've done is try to match the loadout that's fitted to it in the museum. And, I made a change because I could, because, it's my plane. So on one wingtip, we've got an ASRAAM, which is an AIM-132 missile. I've got blue stripes on it because I've made mine a CATM, as they call it. A CATM is a captive air training missile. It doesn't fire off. Basically, if you put it on the wingtip, the aircraft knows you've got that type of store fitted, and then you can use the targeting thing and use it in training. But it doesn't. It's not a live round. A CATM. On the other wingtip is an ACMI pod. I don't know why they didn't call them Acme pods, but yeah, it's a like aircraft captive maneuvering instrumentation pod. It's got a couple of, and not antennas, they're accelerometers at the front and X, Y, and Z axes, and it records all that, and then they sort of download it all at the end and compare how you did in a dogfight with your mate, your wingman. What else? We've got, these are aftermarket Brew 57s, the bomb rack units. So these are Edward Brassin ones. The bombs are AMK. These are slide molded GBU 38s. I've only got 2 of those. I had 4 come in the set, but I had donated 2 to somebody else making a Hornet. This is again, it's the same AMK boxing. This is a lightning pod. Basically, they create a hotspot with a laser firing on the ground. These bombs then track towards the hotspot on the ground. So if you fit those, you'll need that. And this, and it's got an 8222 pod. It's an Alta 8222 pod, which is an ECM pod, captive. It doesn't go anywhere. That replaces what would be an AMRAAM missile on later Hornets, Australian Hornets. It's the Alta 8222, and I've got, again, they're hard to see, but if I get out a little pointy stick on the inside of the pylons, the outer pylons, there's a square bit there. That's a bowl. It's a Saab bowl, BOL, and you've got counterweights for them on the outside of the pylons there. So as it's sitting in the museum, it's got a CADM. Well, it's really an ASRAAM on each wingtip. It's got empty brews, the bomber BRU 57As. It's got 2 of these GBU 38s on the ground underneath one wingtip. It's got the the external tanks fitted to the internal pylons on these. It's got the lightning pod, and on the other wingtip, it's got the bowls fitted in the museum, but on the other wingtip, it's got a CADM, an ASRAAM. I wanted to fit the AC mine because that's what I was used to working around when I worked on these aircraft. In the 2 short years I did Classic Hornets. As the kit went, I think it's a cracker of a build. I'd heard stories that the nose can be treacherous, but as you can see there's no problems with the nose at all. It just goes together quite well with no problems at all. The detail in the undercarriage bays is perfectly fine. I think, well, more than fine. You've got some on the side there. You've got a little bit of brass PE that comes with the kit to have hydraulic lines and everything else. In the main gear bay, it's got enough detail there. There's no additions there. It's just that's how the undercarriage comes in the kit. And I tell you what, it's difficult to fault. The undercarriage, it's sturdy. It's on the right angle. Everything about this, like even the flaps, the position of the lefts and the tefts, leading edge flap and the trailing edge flaps, are all pretty much, you can't get them wrong. These are fairly fragile in that the only thing that's holding them on are 2 of these for the outer tefts and 2 of the same sort of hinge points for the inner tefts, but they're hard to see. But basically, once they're fitted, you won't knock them. These are fully adjustable up and down. The elevators, the rudders are separate, so you can have them pointed wherever you like. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Like, I'm happy with it. It's the best I can do. I have taken a photo of it. I jumped on top of the actual aircraft and placed this model on that little antenna there and took a photo of it, and looking back at the tail. So it's a good photo. I might put a link to it or something or other in the comments later on. But yeah, I reckon if you wanted to build a classic Hornet, you can't go wrong with this Kinetic kit. Don't believe some, I wouldn't say hype, but some of the negativity on a certain page on YouTube. There's absolutely nothing wrong with Kinetic at all. I'd build another one of these in a heartbeat. And I've built the Mirage. I built 2 of those. Standard sort of modeling skills, absolutely no problems at all. I'd build another one of those. In fact, I do want to build another one of those. I've got another one in mind. The aircraft that's sitting next to this real one in the museum, I'm going to put it in the cabinet. So they're in the same positions because I can and all that sort of stuff. And I've got one of their Hornets up on the shelf here, which I'm looking forward to building as well. But yeah, there we go. So I thought you'd be interested in having a look at how these Kinetic Hornets turn out. Now, I think they're very well indeed. And yeah, I would certainly, as I say, do another one in a heartbeat. If I just grabbed one, I wouldn't hesitate. I enjoyed everything about the build. And again, all the extras I threw at it, you can't see them. I've got the Quinta Studios interior, very nice indeed. I bought the what else? I got the Quinta Studios seat, so it's just the cushion padding and everything else, and they're worthwhile. I'd bought Manscale Models, Eric Gallier's 3D prints certain things for Australian Hornet. So he has it's the bowl dispensers and blanks. Um, well, it's a packaging for it anyway. I'd bought the Jahamix modules, which is a joint helmet mounted cueing system. These are little tiny little things that go beside the pilots or the head box of the seat. Um, that's for the joint helmet mounted cueing system. I forgot to fit it, so I've got two of those. But I've asked Kinetic if I could have a new canopy because I'm not happy with that. You can see it's really milky. If I get a clear canopy from them, I'll be swapping that out and fitting the Jahamix. So watch this space. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, the only thing I really wasn't happy with the kit, apart from the decals which are aftermarket, was the clarity of the. You can see it's very milky. The clear parts were just they're very milky. I've had a look at the Worimi boxing of this, and they've fixed it. So this must have been just a poor release and everything else. But yeah, again, I've asked the my mate whose shop I bought it from in Melbourne, Gundam's Pass, a little shout out there. If he can source a new canopy for me. If it comes, if it doesn't matter really, because in reality these canopies are always filthy because I weren't allowed to use polish on them. All I could use is a rag and water, and I'd just smear all the gack around and never actually cleaned. So there's that. And also the ACMI pod, I had bought a couple of these. I went to Telford with my brother last year. I went to Telford and I got a couple of these from Bandit Resin Factory, and they're really good indeed. They're spot on. Where are we? So in the instructions for those, very, very cool. So it comes with, not only the little, well, I call them antennas, but they're accelerometers, but it's the angles at which they sit, but then it's got the painting guide as well, which is not totally correct. We don't have the dark copper on the nose. We've got just black, but yeah, they looked spot on. Um, they're actually very accurate, which is really good. Um, so yeah, that's it. That's my Hornet review. Um, Thank you for listening in and paying attention and listening to me ramble on. And yeah, I'll just cut the case. I'll just walk away. Thanks. See you next time.